What's really good, world? So I currently have a video up about how to invest in the KRX as a foreigner, though it's generally tailored towards people already living in the Republic of Korea with a legal residence visa. I've gotten a lot of people in the comments asking how to invest in Korea as a foreigner, so I figure it's time that I make one of these videos instead. You're watching Sekki들, and this is how to invest in Korean exchanges as a foreigner living overseas. Now before I continue, I just want to make it known that this channel is for educational purposes only and shouldn't be used as a replacement for any paid legal or financial advice. In addition, any mention of any stock on this channel is not meant as a suggestion to buy, hold, or sell that stock. Only you can make that decision, and we implore you to do your own research before doing anything with your money. Also, I'd appreciate it if you could take a second out of your day to hit the like and subscribe buttons to help me get picked up by the YouTube algo. In any case, let's get to it. Now there are a few ways of putting your money into Korean stocks, so let's start at the easiest option, Korean ETFs. Now if you don't live in Korea, have never set up a bank account or a brokerage account in Korea, and you're uninterested in doing the paperwork necessary to do so, this is probably your express pass to the KRX. Of all the Korea-based ETFs I've looked through, the iShares MSCI Korea ETF seems to have the most comprehensive holdings, and its market ticker is EWY. It holds over $7.6 billion worth of assets in 100% Korean equities. So if y'all are just trying to cover your bases and making sure that you have a little allocation in one of the fastest emerging markets in your portfolio, then there's no need to look any further. Sure, it's an ETF, meaning you have to pay fees and expenses and shit, but it'll save you a whole lot of time and effort through a classic buy, hold, and don't think about it strategy. If you're really intense about it, maybe check out the KORU ETF, ticker symbol KORU, which is based on the same MSCI Korea 2550 index, but it's triple leveraged, which means triple the gains, triple the losses, and 100% the chest pains. Finally, you have the option of a much younger and smaller Franklin FTSE South Korea ETF. Its ticker symbol is FLKR. And this one's a value-based mid to large cap stock-focused fund from Franklin Templeton. Its expense ratio is significantly lower than that of EWI, so it may be worth a look. But now, there are other options. Some of Korea's largest cap companies have ADRs, aka American Depository Receipts, and these allow you to buy their shares through the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, or the OTC markets. Others have GDRs, or Global Depository Receipts, which sell on exchanges like the London or Frankfurt exchanges. This is an option for you, but your selection will be limited and the shares may be significantly less liquid than they would be buying on the Korean market. Similarly, your brokerage may allow you to place orders for KRX stocks, though this is quite rare, and it often comes along with extras like minimum share purchases, poor liquidity, and extra fees and losses due to things like currency exchanges. While this is a little more hands-on, it's kind of an impotent approach, as you're basically in a take-what-they-give-you type of position, which is objectively not really a big move. So let's get to the guts. The process to qualify for and set up a brokerage account to invest directly in the Korean securities market is a little bit convoluted. This flowchart from the Korea Financial Investment Association, or KOFIA, does a decent if somewhat convoluted job of explaining the investment sign-up process and the way it gets put into effect. Essentially, the most essential thing that you have to do to get the ball rolling is apply for an IRC, or an Investment Registration Certificate, and this comes from the Financial Supervisory Services, or the FSS. I'm probably going to be using a bunch of acronyms, forgive me for that. Anyways, this can be done through either an agent, a lawyer, a local agent who provides such a service, or you could apply through them directly actually. If done through a local agent, you can designate them as a standing proxy as well, and they'll take care of your investments on your behalf and provide services such as investment registration, account opening, order placing, dividend collection, voting, and all of that fun stuff. It isn't required that you set up a standing proxy, but it's recommended that you do so through either a bank, a securities company, or a Korean securities depository. And I'm not saying that it's recommended by us, it's recommended by the Bank of Korea and the FSS and KOFIA. Now, if you've never lived here, this may seem like an incredibly bureaucratic process that requires a lot more paperwork than, say, signing up for international brokerages or Webull, and yeah. Why fear North Korea when we have mountains of paperwork to worry about instead? Luckily, There are a bunch of brokerages that are set up to make the process easy for you, but the only one that I've been able to find that's detailed in full English is that of Samsung Securities. Now, this is by no means an advertisement of the company, and I'm not saying that this is the service that you should use, but they've made sign up pretty easy, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, on their page for foreign investors living abroad, they have a list of documents that are required for sign up, specifically a standing proxy, an investment ID application or IRC, a registration of your signature, a declaration of non-resident status, your HTS registration if you want to do home trading, which why not sign up for anyway, you might as well get full access if you can. And finally, you have a copy of your passport. A lot of paperwork, yes, but this is not rare, and luckily Samsung has decided to collect and provide all of these documents in one place. Now, once you fill all this out, you simply have to wait for them to process all the information and assign you an IRC. After which they'll open an account for you to and from which you may remit funds and conduct your trading and investing. That's it really. They may contact you for more information or to get certain documents notarized, but otherwise, there isn't much else for you to worry about. You'll be able to trade from home whenever the market is open and deal with your Korean holdings in a more hands-on way than most people. Now, this is a huge advantage over standard investors if you believe that there are certain companies in the Korean market that you truly believe in. And now for the big question. Is it worth it when you could just buy into EWI and hold it for the long term? Well, that depends on your goals. ETFs are funds that have expense ratios and require you to pay fees. You also have much less control over what stocks are being held, when they're being bought and sold, and what is done with voting, dividends, whatever. If you truly do not care about that aspect and you just want to passively own and hold a Korean portfolio, then maybe EWI is actually a lot better for you. But then again, maybe doing the paperwork and cutting out the fees may be preferable as well. As with anything we talk about on this channel, its suitability to you is entirely based on your personal means and your personal goals. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to investing, unless you ask the Bogle heads. In any case, I do hope that this video helped you understand different ways to access the Korean market, and if it did, I hope you make the decision that's right for you. Y'all have been watching Sekidul, and I'd really appreciate it if you could share this with your friends, whether or not they want to invest in the Korean market at all, because maybe one day they will, and that way they'll know where to go to figure out how. Alright, appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll catch you soon. We'll be coming out with another episode of what we're watching within the next few days. Hope you're doing alright. Take care of yourselves. Go get your vaccines. Peace.